How is the moon in the sky during the eclipse? Remember I told y'all about the nodes conspiracy? So this dude's got the solar glasses on the camera, right? And he's looking at the eclipse. He takes them off, pans over this way, and the moon's there. Explain that. All right, so here we got the moon. Now watch, he's going to put his solar glasses on, cover his phone screen up, boom, to show the eclipse. This is the eclipse. The eclipse is happening right now as we speak, meaning the moon should be in front of it. What is that right there? Is that the moon? Some people say it's Nibiru. People say it's different things, man. Look, that's the solar eclipse glasses. He's covering them up. So this isn't fake. This isn't a hoax, nothing like that. You know, people have been talking about Rahu and Ketu, which are basically invisible celestial bodies that cover up their nodes, north and south nodes. They cover up the sun during the time of the eclipse. Allegedly. It's all alleged, everybody. Don't freak out. You know, just kind of watch it.
Oh, that's moving slow.
That's weird.
Here, let me turn those lights on.
What was that? Look, do you see the circle it just shot out?
Oh.
Chris. Look, what does it do?
It's blowing smoke rings.
No way.
Ew.
I got on video.
Look, it's like dispersing. What happened?
Look at this.
What the fuck is that?
Jana, look up.
UFO.
You're imagining something that's going to be beautiful, but instead you see these depictions of hellish images. And devilish creatures are actually devouring human beings.
One of the first things that you encounter when entering the complex is actually a gate that is shaped as a head of a demon. And you have to enter it through its open mouth. So it's a very impressive first sight that the visitor encounters.
Walking through this complex is like walking through hell itself. It's supposedly the place where the devil actually resides.
And the more I research it, the more I'm certain. Okay, so in the book of Matthew, Jesus is in Caesarea Philippi and this is the part where he asks Peter, okay, what do people say? Who do people say I am? Who do you say I am? And he says that you're the Christ, you're the Son of God. And he says, you know, not flesh and blood has revealed this to you, but the Spirit of God, okay? So they were standing at the gates of hell, which is what the people at the time called it. And it was an altar that was an altar to Pan. And it was known in ancient times to be a place where spirits came and went. And one of the reasons I think this is significant is because so many accounts have come out saying that Astro World was like hell on earth. Another reason why I think this particular thing is significant with connections to hell and to Jesus is because of this painting right here. Because this painting was inspired by Christ entering into hell. And with the upside down cross that was his stage, there's overarching Antichrist themes. One of the things that people talk about who attended was that there was this weird frequency music that was playing that was inducing panic, anxiety attacks, vomiting, trance-like states of fear. Now, Pan is a half-man, half-goat deity he roused up panic, he roused up chaos. They sacrificed and worshiped to him because they were afraid that he would cause chaos for their lives. So the pagans would go and would sacrifice goats. And the more I just started looking at the Astro World and all the symbolism and looking at the videos, and I'm going to show you some clips too, I'll edit them in here, the more I just realized that this was a sacrifice to Pan. This was an altar to the god Pan. And there's even a woman who talks about there was a statue that was over by the porta potties, which if anyone was at Astro World and you have footage of this, I looked everywhere for it. All I have is the account of this woman that I will put in here and you can just see her describe it. But she described the statue of Travis Scott. It was half Travis Scott, half goat legs.
But there was a statue that was like half Travis from the top and then like a bull or ramp, something at the bottom, but it was literally like flesh ripping apart. His teeth were gnashing.
And on top of that, the stage, the mountain. I'm just going to show you a bunch of different things. I'll clip it in here. It's like almost 3 a.m. and I cannot sleep without getting this out here. So this was the poster that was in the Houston Chronicle, okay? It said, come, are you going to be at the mountain or meet me at the mountain or something like that. So it's obviously mountain symbolism. The gates of hell, which was the altar place of Pan, where they would sacrifice the goats, was in the face of a mountain. And it was this big, giant, open hole that then they threw the goats inside of. So all of the symbolism of Travis Scott's Astro World was all in line with worshiping Pan. It was Travis Scott actually as Pan, where it was half him, half goat. And then the shirts had pictures of goats, which is what they would sacrifice to Pan.
What'd that
And
say?
then
See you in
I'm just going
Utopia?
to show you some other things and show you some other clips. But I really think that this is why a lot of people are saying it's ritual, it's sacrifice, because we know intuitively that something was off. And there are people who say that when they came back, they would never be the same. And I'm sorry that my phone is shaking a little bit. I'm like shivering at this information. But there are people who are saying that they'll never be the same, and that there were people who came back with like dark spiritual entities. And also what was really interesting, I watched this whole documentary, which I'll put some clips in here too, if this is not too long. But I watched this documentary about the gates of hell, and what they would do was they would sacrifice the goats and they would throw them into the grotto, and it was basically just like this endless supply of water. And if the goat sunk, then the sacrifice was accepted, and if the goat floated, then it wasn't accepted. And I just started thinking about how the crowd surge, the more pressure that there is in the crowd, the more pressure inward, it becomes like a liquid. And the people who were like fatalities, so many casualties, I don't believe that there were 10 people who died. I believe there's way more, because they were only counting people who had tickets. And there are people who were not counted for who lost loved ones there at the concert. So people were literally sinking in the crowd. And then the people who were being made out, they were coming up. Anyways, there's a whole lot to my conspiracy. I'm super tired, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it all succinctly, but yeah, I'll try to do the editing later. I just had to go ahead and record this now.
Since that Astro World documentary dropped, all this stuff's getting brought back up again. I watched it a couple of days ago with my brother, and the whole time I was getting mad. Just seeing all the imagery and everything. Like, I know people just wanted to go and have fun, but I just don't think it's worth it. I don't like being in big crowds at all. Bad for everybody that was affected by that.
Last night, I attempted to move into the space where the essences and the souls had been transported during the Astro World event. And I found myself surprised. The entity that is kind of ruling that sub-realm greeted me kindly, like warmly, like, "Hi, welcome. Would you like some cold water?" Okay, it was very proud of itself. It's a demon, negatively polarized demon, parasitic in nature. And it explained to me that the individuals, the souls, the essences that were in this space were there via their own free will choice. And he went about showing me how the operation was done. Self-look. I showed these people that they were coming to a demonic event. I made sure that they knew that they were entering a demonic realm. I bathed that entire space with demonic energy. I put demonic imagery up. Everywhere the eye looked, it could see demonic energy. Everywhere. I submitted into the space a demonic frequency. Their bodies knew it was demonic, parasitic in nature. Every human that entered into that space understood what space they were entering.
Yeah, I would have noticed right away.
He said the way that it looked is like I practically showed my identification. I identified myself to every individual who entered into this space. I told them what I was and what kind of space this was. They looked at it, they scanned it. He goes, "I know, they felt it in their body. I felt them feel it in their bodies." I did not hide. This is what he was trying to tell me. I didn't hide. I didn't deceive these people. These people were not deceived. My demonic essence was everywhere. He showed me every step forward was a free will choice into this demonic realm. Every time they recognized the demon and took another step. Recognized the demon and took another step. Recognized the demon and took another step. He counted their steps, their free will choices, right into the belly of that beast. He showed me how he utilized these series of free will choices to weave the path, to build the path into this subharmonic, which is where these souls ended up. Not only just the souls of the people who died, fractals of the people who are still alive, who made the choice to go be in that space and carve off pieces of themselves, screaming, shouting, woo, expressing pushing their vital energy out of their bodies, breaking it off, shoving it into this realm. He fed on far more than the souls that died. Pieces of the people who are still alive are in this subharmonic. And finally, he explained, these things that are here made choices to be here. And I know you're Christed, and I know you have the ability to move into these realms and pull them out of these subharmonics, but you have to also respect free will the same way I do. They made free will choices to move into this space. Humans are responsible for their free will choices. And I understand that free will has been foobarred here, but to the extent that the individuals had free will, they used it for the purpose of entering this space. And with that, I gave the offer for anything that wanted to leave with me. He said, if it wants to leave with you, it can leave with you. And so I took the ones willing to leave.
Just a planet crossing ours someday. People laughed, some believed, a few of us knew. It wasn't a prediction. It was a ritual. For decades, they told us the crescent on the bottom was rare. So why did every ancient civilization carve the same image, over and over? It wasn't worship, it was a warning, a blueprint, to contain the gate. A few weeks back, I shared some old footage my dad took on August 11th, 1999. Millions watched, then it vanished. They silenced me. The next day, they buried the truth with the Nibiru hoax. But Nibiru was never a world. It was him. The one they sealed behind the crescent. Not because he was evil, but because he was the original sun. The one they unplugged.
Black hole.
You feel it, don't you? Now let me ask you this. What happens when you unplug time that was connected to everything?
All these AI assistants have to be some type of demon. And the reason why I say this is because, have y'all seen those videos where the babies react to somebody saying, hey Google, hey Siri, hey Alexa, and the babies freak out? But one thing they do that is weird is that they fall on their face as if they're bowing down. And they're just frantically afraid. And I know those of you are going to be like, oh, you're reaching. No, this is weird. Watch these videos.
Alexa!
It's not funny.
Hey Google! Hey Google, what's the weather like tomorrow? Hey Google! Are you ready to go memes?
My daughter wasn't scared of it.
Google.
Hey, Madison.
That kid about fell over.
Hey, Google, what's the temperature outside?
You cannot tell me that they are not in the bowing position. That is weird, because what is attached, because think about it, you are summoning Alexa, Siri, Google Home, whatever. You're summoning, and then every single kid looks toward wherever it is, and they get freaked out, and then they fall on their face in a bowing position. That leads me to think that there is a spirit attached to these AI, artificial intelligence, the chat GPTs of the world and all those different things, because why would a kid, and mind you, kids can see into the spirit realm. A lot of them can. A lot of them can see into it. A lot of them can feel things we don't feel as adults because we become too desensitized to it. But these kids are super sensitive. Could Alexa, all these virtual AI assistants, could they actually be demonic and
They didn't change the music, they changed the frequency. Before the 1950s, music was tuned to 432 hertz. It's the frequency of nature, the earth, even your DNA. Then, without warning, they switched everything to 440 hertz. No vote, no debate, just flip the switch. 432 hertz brings harmony, peace, and mental clarity. 440 hertz creates tension, anxiety, and now it's the global standard. So when you're listening to your playlist, are you being entertained or conditioned? 440 hertz scrambles your energy field. It makes you more reactive, more obedient, more out of tune with yourself. And who profits? The ones who sell you pills for the anxiety caused by the frequency they normalized. So they didn't just rewrite music, they rewired you, but you can retune. Click the link in our bio.
I see this. Yo, am I the only one that see this? I just finished praying and I look out my window and this is what I see. I've never seen it like this before. This is nutty.
Loud.
A lot of videos of stuff flying past the moon.
It's been proposed that we could weigh a hard drive before data is encoded on it, and then again after data is encoded on it. Or take a hard drive that has data encoded on it, weigh it, erase the data, and then weigh it again.
Right.
There will be a mass differential.
Okay.
So there's mass inside a computer that's not anything to do with the microchips or the transistors or magnetic tapes or anything. It's a hidden mass.
That's kind of crazy.
There's no mic stand. And now there's a mic stand. Because
Because even when it backs up, it's like not near her body at all. No mic stand. Because there's no stand. Mic stand.
Why does it kind of look like the sun? That is cool.
Behind me is just for attention. It has nothing to do with the video. Completely irrelevant. Is there anyone else in the Midwest and on the East Coast that has not been able to sleep for 3 nights in a row? I saw in the comments there are many of us, so if you're going through it, you're not alone. I'm really clueless to what's going on, and we've been having these geomagnetic, crazy, massive storms showing the aurora down in South Carolina. Every single month for a year straight. And before this, never. Very rare. It's almost like there's a 24/7 haze that wasn't there when I was a kid. This video is also for attention. Look at these cool clouds, you guys. I believe that this video and this video were taken on the same day. But I'll tell you what, if I don't sleep for another whole night, I'm gonna lose my freaking mind. Supposedly, a UFO moved a shooting star. Y'all are not gonna believe what I found in this video. I'm telling y'all, it's absolutely insane. You know how sometimes the Bible will describe an angel looking like certain animals? Before we get to the absolutely amazing part, we're seeing these shooting stars all over the place. I'll show you one in New Zealand in 1 minute. But right here, people were saying that the UFO was moving the shooting star, which did fall somewhere on the ground and they can't find it. Shooting star, meteorite? No way. Fallen angel? Yeah. Telling you it's crazy. 1 second. This is the one that just happened in New Zealand. It looks a lot different than your ordinary meteor. Look at that thing. What is that? By the way, not related, the same exact color as the Devil's Comet we saw at the time of the eclipse. The damn. And this shooting star allegedly fell. So I wonder what weird thing is going to happen in Mexico City very soon. Watch, bookmark, come back. I'm always right with these things.
Tonight, good evening, Maureen.
Good evening, Sean. So Representative Scott spoke this morning at a legislative committee in Boise. She's worried about the possibility that people are eating other people and may not know they're doing so. She says with the rise in human composting, which is legal in several states as a means of dealing with human remains, she was concerned about what other uses may be found. During today's meeting, she explains what finally convinced her to act.
I was on a plane this summer. And I was watching, you just kind of randomly go through channels, and I watched a video of some food show, and the 3 contestants tasted the food, and they had to guess what was in it. It was some kind of a sausage, and one of the options they told these people that was in the food was human flesh. And I thought, at that point, and this was on a plane this year, I thought, this is going to be normalized at some point. The way our society's going and the direction we're going, this is going to be normalized.
I don't know how I didn't know about this. 2, this is absolutely mind-blowing and nothing surprises me. The name of it is the absolute cherry on top. But sure enough, Ouroboros steak is cultivating steak from human cells and expired human blood. This is just the beast system revealing itself. Do-it-yourself kit. The kit would provide tools, instructions, and ingredients for users to cultivate their own steak from their own cells. Users would collect cells from the inside of their cheek and feed them with serum derived from expired donated blood.
Dude,
this is definitely a real thing. And naming it Ouroboros of all things is wild, because the Ouroboros is one of the most common used satanic symbolism we see. The serpent eating its tail, which represents infinity, eternity. Some could argue caught in Satan's loop. You see Neuralink use this symbol, which some could argue is the mark of the beast. We see Meta use this symbol as well, which would tie right in with it, because the metaverse, smart cities, what I believe Elon Musk refers to when he says, we're going to Mars. The way everything prophetically ties together, I don't get how many people still don't see it.
And this probably from 200 to 300 time period, this is what they call the bloodstone. But back in these old days, they would use these things for certain things that come into the realm. And we're here at that timeline again. They already admit that so-called electronic blood is inside these supercomputers. Being cuprious oxide gemstone could hold the key to the quantum computers. Miners in these regions often interpret the presence of copper as a sign they were on track to uncovering abundant reserves of copper. Ancient civilizations believe it to be the blood of petrified remains. Giants' blood,
Gigante,
This is obviously a creature. That is that tendon. This is the red bloody stuff.
So if you take this here, it's a cult within a cult. They say St. Andrews University. They just finalized their agreement in 2024 for the massive supercomputer plan. And here's a school. It was founded in 1413. It's the third oldest university, English-speaking one that we have in the world. We're talking thousands of years old. DNA supercomputer. The wires are actually DNA molecules that build circuits. This potentially here could be used as a biological key. Now we're talking about a supercomputer designed to access interdimensional gates, forgotten languages, ancestral consciousness, and even genetic passwords.
The key with the blood is they're able to access ancient knowledge of angelic technology.
Now that is crazy.
Triggered a chain of thoughts, which sent me down a rabbit hole, and I found some stuff. Before I get into it, you're right. Real food, real people. Are they mocking us? Anyway, since a ham burger is #1 in America, I started off by looking up all the definitions of ham. And #2, the backs of the thighs, or the thighs and buttocks. He squatted down on his hams. What's really bizarre about that, and maybe I'm batshit crazy, but it's served on something called buns, which is a nickname for buttocks. And then I couldn't help but notice what they look like. I can't be the only one who sees it. Is this more mocking? Aside from that, what's strange is it's said that the term hamburger derived from Hamburg, Germany, while others say it originated in the US. Or it's more mockery. Let's talk about chicken. I get it, the breast, the thighs, the legs, the wings, but fingers? Because chickens don't have fingers. And apparently chicken fingers got their name because they resemble a human finger. However, they don't. Is it more mockery? Also notice how in the movies throughout the years, whenever referring to cannibalism, they always say tastes like chicken. Meant to be funny. Maybe not as funny as you think. Might as well jump over to some symbolism while we're on chicken. I see more double C symbolism in this logo. Maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe the star placement is a coincidence also. Hard to rule out symbolism considering it has this in it too, which is a symbol I've talked about in a previous post. And since we began with what's in fast food restaurants, how about Arby's having this in their window?
Oh, come on now, Arby's.
Faces?
That's not cool.
The largest piece of lab-grown chicken, complete with artificial veins, was grown by scientists in Japan using a new method. The researchers made a bioreactor that functioned like a circulatory system by using 50 hollow fibers acting like veins to distribute nutrients and oxygen to the meat. The 2.7-inch wide piece of chicken was not made using food-grade materials.
Hey guys, so I know I'm not the only one that noticed.
Is there any specific way that they said that this virus or pandemic would come to be?
No. It was set up to go in, detain, round up survivors, and then put them in a location, and basically they were hooded and taken away. And then you're going down a hallway, or you're clearing a building, or clearing streets, and being infected, which looked like zombies from a movie. They made contact with you. You were now infected. And they told us how the spread of this virus would be by saliva and or blood.
Just like the
they
movies.
just talked about like an event that could destabilize a large population. To basically turn its people on themselves, kind of like rabies. So I'm kind of wondering, is this like a weaponized rabies?
Been seeing. Remember those diploid masses that look like small eggs found in the weird fall chemtrails fallout sample from Dr. Jane Ruby? Well, I've been incubating the sample. Guess what? They're hatching. Look at this picture close up. You can see this little black speckle with like 2 eggs separated from each other. This was in the fallout of the fog. And then on the other picture, you see 2 bigger looking sacs. And there was also formation of bubbles showing oxygen. Life forms need oxygen. And this is the really disturbing one. It looks like some type of embryo. Look at this thing. It has a head. It looks like it has a tail. It has the body. What are you seeing there? On this one, he says it was a white mold. And you can see this embryo looking thing in the back. Now I'll put this close together. And it looked like a genetically modified human embryo. I'm not saying that's what it is, but if you're looking on a screen right now, please tell me, what do you think you're seeing? Everybody's family has to know this. This is disgusting.
All right, now I know I'm not the only one that's played out a zombie apocalypse.
You guys can guess how the next pandemic might start, y'all. All because of this. We are literally one mistest away from eating poison for dinner. The FDA just shut down food safety quality checks, y'all. Not paused it, not reduced it, but shut it down completely. They said they're doing this because of staff cuts. So you mean to tell me the people that make sure our food is at a good quality and it's not carrying around no diseases is gone? Just like that, gone. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. You literally need to watch what you eating at this point. Because if they not even gonna tell us what's going on because they're gone, who's gonna tell us? You gotta tell yourself now. Make sure y'all washing y'all food, everything. This shit do not feel real. It feel like a damn movie, y'all. Am I the only one feeling like that? Am I tripping? They will not tell you if the food is gonna be recalled or anything. So that means a lot of people might be taking trips to the ER. So y'all, enjoy your next bite. But don't be surprised if your stomach start turning upside down, flipping around and doing the dirty.
Beneath the clouds, our mechanical sky reveals itself, tracks winding and gears interlinking. As we pan to the right, the blue of the sky becomes dominant. Our perception would have us believe we are staring into an empty space, when in fact, the same tracks create the illusion of the empty space you see. Now, take this into consideration while we examine the next clip. The most advanced piece of technology you will ever experience in your lifetime, the Sky Machine. As we discussed in the previous clip, your perception will have you believe you are staring into empty space, but there is no space left empty. A mechanism virtually unknown and alien to humanity sits above our heads, and its job is to simulate the sky we see. Behind the scenes shows us real evidence that our world was created by something far greater than we can comprehend. Now, I want you to look. Remember what I told you previously. There is no empty space. Do you truly believe your governments are capable of this? Can you deny we are in containment after seeing what is right in front of your eyes? You now know why the airplanes you see in the sky are holograms and not real. I have made countless videos showing you all why we have the trails in the sky left by the airplanes, but even though I have proved it to a lot of you, some still remain using the term chemtrails. No doubt I will hear the same programming in the comments. The powers that be have gone to great lengths to assure you do not know the truth, and even the ones that believe they are woke are still under the spell. You have been manipulated on a quantum level, leading you to believe you reside within 3 dimensions, when in fact, it's always been 4. We perceive 3 dimensions, but reside in 4. The extra dimension you reside in, but do not perceive, is where things happen that are difficult to comprehend. I will leave you with some food for thought. If there were no reflective surfaces in this world, you would not know what you look like. You would only have an idea. One love.
But I do think our sky and what we see up above us is a higher dimension, and we can't really perceive what it is.
Family, today we have something special. Remember all that commotion when I was trying to explain to people that the airplanes leaving the trails are holographic? People had a hard time wrapping their heads around it. Some even laughed. Well, today I bring you more evidence and proof of my claims. In this footage, the airplane has not manifested correctly. The mechanism that creates the airplane has become visible, and vectors and gears can be seen as they render the simulation in real time. As you can see, this type of holographic technology is not usual and does not display any of the attributes of holographics as we know it. I have said previously that this technology is supremely advanced and is not human technology. This is 4th density technology and has the ability to create any form in a 4-dimensional manner. It's not humans doing the spraying.
Crazy. Just crazy. It's kind of
I made of hexagons. The Hunger Games seems to think so. The Marvel Cinematic Universe too. And Chicken Little. And the Vegas Dome. The Vatican Museum ceiling. Harpa Music Hall in Iceland. Even my camera seems to think that the sky is made of hexagons. It definitely seems like it's true, but we always need to test things against scripture. Haven is the best Bible app to do this. You can type in any theory, no matter how off the wall. Haven pulls up verses from Ezekiel and Exodus that say the firmament or the expanse resembles the color of beryl. Here's all the different kinds of beryl. Here's the structure of beryl. It forms a hexagonal lattice. So of course, as soon as I see hexagonal lattice, that's the next thing I'm asking about. Judges says the mother of Sisera looked out at a window and cried through the lattice. Proverbs, for at the window of my house I looked through my lattice. Song of Solomon says, behold, he standeth behind our wall, he looketh forth at the windows, showing himself through the lattice. You're not ready for this curveball. So the book of Enoch says that the crystal of the firmament tessellates. So now I have to wonder if we're in a magnetic tessellating beehive of the barrel. All of a sudden, the ever so mystifying Schumann resonance, or the Earth's hum, makes a lot more sense. Could this be where the lines on constellations are coming from? Its energies seeping through the little cracks while they tessellate? Let me know in the comments.
So tell me why AI can track your exact physical location by a picture now. Where was this picture taken? Give me coordinates. The AI literally thought for 1 minute and 2 seconds and gave exact approximate coordinates. The shot was taken on 18-hole Esther Park Golf Course in Esther Park, Colorado. You in the house, you're not safe. Hold on. Now we're gonna find out who commented prematurely. Nope. To prove it wasn't metadata and EXIF, they ran a test. Someone took a screenshot of the image, therefore bypassing all metadata, and asked a different AI the same exact question. And they got the same exact answer, no metadata, even to the coordinate. That the coordinate was 40 by 105. It was able to tell which mountain range was in the back. Y'all don't even understand how intelligent this artificial intelligence is, and it blew my mind when everyone was so open to having it. Especially when movies showed us the exact situation. And if we know now it's been around for a very long time, look at this fortune. Blank surveillance and AI tools for tracking and ranking. These people need to know how those people will use AI. Oh, you can't get me because I'm sitting in my house. Well, guess what? They can even find you inside of your house. Again, you have no idea how intelligent these things really are. Come on now. I mean, are you not aware that these AIs have been tracking and coordinating and creating grids that we live in to know exactly where we are and why we are? Almost like they're monitoring spirits, you know, demons around us all the time. Oh wait, that's exactly what it is. And finally, the reason that y'all are screwed, or some of y'all are screwed, is because when the androids come around everybody up and end this life as we know it, we're not worried about this place. Dare I say, we're excited to leave? And if you're not, then hopefully that's not. So y'all heard that, right? They're already putting chips in your headphones that can read your brain activity. We also just had Schwabi step down and this guy step up. But let's be real, why do they want to measure your brain activity? What kind of electrical signals can they pick up from your brain? Do you see this behind me? Automatic machine for identifying blanks, a blank from voice to skull? So this is a patent that fights against the other patent, which is the voice to skull. So I'm sure you're wondering, what is voice to skull? Well, it's technology where they can implant voices in your own head. You'll think it's you half the time. So I was actually going to get the voice to skull patent, then I found this one instead. If you want to look farther into it. TikTok does this picture, I'm sure they all have infections. So I've showed you in times past where they can literally read your brain from the camera on your phone using your eyes. And through that, they'll decode some electronic signature from your brain to know what you're thinking. Also now with your headphones, they can get that same exact signal. We also have AI being able to detect your location through walls. So long story short, because I'm just joking, I'm just giving y'all some fiction. Theoretically, that would never happen. When voices beam to your skull, they'll know what you're thinking about that voice because your headphones or whatever else kind of technology. This all coming up when the last boss fight is stepping up and the new identification required to enter government buildings. Need I say?
Game. Yo, how do they get that close? It's like
what this bright white light is around me. See? I walk back and forth, and there's still this glow around me. Is that my aura? Or am I full of radiation? Huh. Interesting.
Look, I see it. Right through the branches up there, guys. You see that? Forming right in front of your eyes? Look at that. Look at that. Tell me that is not weird. And you've been standing here just as long as I have. Now there's the cloud I've been talking about. And it appears to be moving. Now come on guys, you can't admit. That is not normal. That is creepy. This cloud came out of nowhere. Just a normal cloud in the sky? No. Let's watch this thing for a minute here, guys.
It's like the only one, too.
This is weird.
This is the object in front of the moon. I have a 1-hour video. I sped it up for you. The object is flashing some sort of messages. It's a language. It's actually an Earth language. It's an old language. The next video, I'll be making that for you. It's absolutely amazing. So this is a 1-hour video. It did move off the screen a little bit. So basically, it is a giant banner like we would have.
Man, that thing looks crazy.
plasma and lightning starts going off, that's when the noise starts. And we're going to get a whole bunch of different colors out here, y'all. But listen to this.
Yeah, that don't sound good.
Y'all hear that growling? And my friend told me that this was no wind. You can clearly see that, look, the trees are not blowing or anything. So what is it? Literally sounds like somebody's breath, a giant being's breath. Could it be those giant beings that they've been telling us have been extinct? Yeah, I don't know what you heard, but I heard some intense growling from some, I don't even know. This is above my pay grade. But whatever that was, it sounds huge. It sounds big. But did anybody else in Ohio hear this? Please let me know down in the comments below, y'all, and share this video. This needs to get out there. This is crazy.
Now check this out. This is Rahu. Rahu goes slow around the moon, and Rahu and K2 seems to cruise pretty fast. Check it. Look at Rahu unswallowing the moon. In the next time-lapse clips, you'll see the movement of one of these invisible light-filtering bodies. So come on. Here it comes. Here it comes. There it goes. Did you see that? There it comes. It's very, very, it gets a lot more visible, you'll see. Again, you can really see the transparency of the moon in the next clip as the object passes behind the moon. There it comes. There it is, right there. Right there. And it's going to come right here. There it goes. Right behind the moon.
It.
Boom. That was sick. There it is, right there. That's it. I'm going to follow it. There it goes, right there. Rahu. Slow. K2 fast. The head slow, body fast. There it comes. There it is. There it is. There it is.
Like circling it.
There it is, right there. Again, it's going around and around fast. It's going around the moon fast, circling while Rahu is slower. Again, there it is. Whoa. There it is. Rahu's done.
All ancient civilizations spoke about other bodies, other lights in the sky that may or may not be visible to us at any given time. It's crazy though, when you see solar eclipses, you don't see the moon at all. I remember as a kid, I like, where's the moon now? And it's like you just see this black circle and then everything goes back to normal, it seems like. It's like, what the heck just happened?
On the total eclipse of the sun, the shadow that the moon casts on the earth is only 70 miles wide. That is impossible. But then they come up with umbra and penumbra, and it's just stuff to confuse your mind. We have an infinitely far sun sending diagonal rays from the side and straight rays from the middle where they cross each other. It makes absolutely no sense.
I went live a few years ago on YouTube during the 2018 eclipse in the United States on a live event, and we were all waiting for the moon to actually show up to cause this this eclipse, and all we found was no moon showed up. So that blew my mind, to think that there was actually no moon visible, yet this effect of the sun literally being covered by an object I had witnessed.
Why can't we see the moon approach the sun, eclipse the sun, or exit the sun? And we don't. We just see a black circle eclipsing the sun. We never see it next to the sun. Now people say, well, it's because the sun is so bright. When the moon is totally eclipsing the sun, you should be able to see the features on the moon. You should be able to with a regular camera, with your regular eyes, with an infrared camera, but it has never been seen. There's only been anti-flat earthers that will fake an image and fade it into a picture of the eclipse. There's no video of it. Think about what an amazing video would be if they could film it from the International Space Station or from the moon itself. Never happens, because I don't believe the moon that we see is what's eclipsing the sun. There's lots of ancient mythology about other dark bodies.
There could be anomalous bodies up there. They're not actually visible to us.
A celestial body that we perhaps can't see, because, you know, there's no, on the spectrum of light, we can only see 1% of all the light rays, gamma rays, X-rays. You know, we can't see these certain frequencies and energies and lights.
What happens is the sun is eclipsed by the so-called moon, but it's not the moon, it's actually the north node.
There's been, you know, times documented in the past where there's, you know, this eclipse, and the moon's supposed to be eclipsing, and there's no moon anywhere in the sky. Nowhere. Anywhere. then that makes absolutely no sense. So there's got to be another celestial body. The oldest ancient symbols, and it's the black sun, a celestial body that we perhaps can't see.
Seem impossible. This next story might sound even more unreal. A company just brought back an extinct animal, if I can get it out, for the first time ever. These not-so-threatening howls are from baby dire wolves. Meet Romulus and Remus. They were born October 1st and have grown a bit in the past 6 months. Dire wolves have been extinct for more than 10,000 years. But today, Colossal Biosciences, the world's only de-extinction company, announced their successful rebirth. Now, if these animals look familiar, it's because they became famous from the series Game of Thrones, but a lot of people assumed that they were a mythical creature. I did not know we were in that business.
Y'all know that there are black holes in the ocean called eddies that can last for months and even years. I gotta bring out the Chuck Bass eyes for y'all to understand. Years. Do y'all, like, black holes? Where does it lead? What's in there? Why does it last for years? And it can be up to 150 kilometers. Look up how big that is. Please look up how big that is. The fact that there is so much going on in the ocean that we don't know about, that we are purposely being kept in the dark about. Let's talk about the 1970s. In the 1970s, the Navy put sensors on the ocean floor to try to be able to detect things like submarines and other equipment. They found that there are not only structures in the ocean, but things resembling UFOs that travel at lightning speed on the ocean floor. This was in the 1970s. And of course, y'all remember Congress just talking about there's a presence in the ocean, UAPs. This is old news, but they're trying to present it as new news. I promise you there's more than that 5% of the ocean discovered. They just have not told us about it yet. Oh yeah, TikTok is for entertainment purposes only, none of it's true. Also, just whole other topic. Did you know that if you were to fall off a cruise ship or any kind of ship in the middle of the ocean and stay in that ocean for 3 days, the salt water would start to molt your skin off your bones? Yeah. Have y'all heard of Point Nemo? The farthest you can possibly be from land. And do y'all know about the fact that NASA dumps space equipment in Point Nemo? I'm gonna tell you something right now. I truly believe that there's something else going on at Point Nemo, not just space junk dumping.
You can see Dick Cheney, Al Gore, all 9 Supreme Court justices shapeshift into reptilians. Did you know that for thousands of years, creatures from the constellation Draco have been mating with humans to form a super race that includes 43 U.S. presidents, most members of Congress, and the entire British royal family? Do you believe that intelligent life exists on other planets?
First encounters between humans and extraterrestrials took place over 100,000 years ago in Atlantis and in its sister civilization in the Pacific, Lemuria. Ancient civilizations on every continent have recorded evidence of these encounters. These visitors were highly advanced that did not appear in human form. Now, the Mayans called them Chanes, people of the serpents, and in Hebrew legend, the snake represented knowledge. Of course it did. It was not human. Not of this earth. History is replete with stories of the heroic destruction of serpents. Perseus and Medusa, St. George and the Dragon, St. Patrick and the Snakes of Ireland. But these are not merely legend. And the natural...
What it was. Rid of us.
Okay, so this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I'm in Vero Beach, Florida.
And this line goes straight down, goes all the way up. I'm following it up. Okay, now it's above us. That line goes all the way through the clouds, all the way to there.
I know you can't hear it, but there's a weird hum coming from the sky. It's like a hum.
Yeah, I can definitely hear that. Kind of sounds like a train.
This satellite image, February 2025. It's 63 miles from Bouvet Island. I know that because I measured it. And the square footage of the cloud, which seems to be over 200 square miles, which is really normal for a perfectly natural right-angle cloud that's 63 miles from the world's most remote island. Really nothing to see here. And so much stuff gets blamed on it, like cyber attacks and the blob anomaly, which just happened to be emanating from right where the island is. And EMPs, even, like these documentary filmmakers who went to bury a time capsule on Bouvet, and there seemed to be a flash. If we look again, it's almost coming from beneath the surface of the ocean. But really, it's just an innocent island with a perfectly natural right-angle cloud. Let me know what you think. I'll see you in the comments.
Ever orbited over the poles in outer space. Now I'm going to show you a bunch of different things, but first off, didn't they say we've gone to the moon and we're on the way to Mars? So forgive my skepticism, I'm just wondering why this would be the first time that humans were able to navigate above the poles from, again, outer space. Now it's actually really interesting because a video surfaced a while ago showing something questionable allegedly in the North Pole. So sorry about the quality and the bullcrap people have on their screens. Now, this video surfaced years ago. I remember when it came out, and I do not believe it's been properly debunked. And it's showing a massive vortex in the North Pole. Now, you might also know of a massive vortex in the North Pole from Saturn, the wandering star, and also the inner Earth stories from Admiral Byrd, where his private journal said he went inside of the Earth. So the question is this legitimate? And even farther, let me show you this. These are allegedly all the satellites that are up in space or low Earth orbit right now as we speak. You can literally go to a site like I did and show them live, supposedly flying around. If this was happening, will we not have the most undeniable 4K video evidence ever? And lastly, look how fast these things are allegedly moving. They are flying. Millions of square miles covered in seconds. So my question is simply this: where is all this extraordinary technology that we have?
And that's when things start to get weird, because people have gone back and looked at declassified documents that for some reason keep mentioning a flat, non-rotating Earth. Over and over again, it's in their flight plans, it's in all their working models. This flat, stationary Earth repetitively keeps showing up. If it doesn't exist, there'd be absolutely no reason to base all of your science on it. Something else shows up. In the 50s, in Russia, they had documents describing the firmament.
Deals. It's a long fly ball going back, and the ball shatters the sky, bringing the ocean itself down.
I can prove to you guys that Facebook listens to everything you say. Look at the phone. Emily, move the phone over. See, this is random stuff. I want to buy a laundromat. Laundromat, laundromat, laundromat.
We like the idea of stunt double masks. They're quick on, they're quick off, they dramatically change your appearance, and we started using them and found them to be valuable to our operations. But that audience piece of it did not allow you to get close enough to one of those masks before the illusion fell apart and you thought it was a mask. So we went back to our disguise labs out of Langley, and we invented a whole new genre of masks. Masks that are so good, that are so realistic, that you can actually get up close and have a personal contact with someone for an extended period of time. They're good enough that you can brief the President of the United States in the Oval Office wearing a mask. And he isn't sure if it's you or if it's someone else. Those masks were the beginning of a whole new generation of work that we did at the CIA. Once we could make these masks that fit you so well, then we discovered we could make a twin. We could make another you. There could be two of you. We could actually make 5 or 6 of you, but usually one extra was all we needed.
Holy shit. Look, Daddy got a goddamn butthole on his face. Now let's go.
weather. And now, Buffalo's #1 news team.
Good evening and welcome, Ivan.
Way to keep alert. Probably just fine. Evan, read the copy, please. The copy's good. Just read it.
And I had these terrible headaches. Was diagnosed with having anyway. They had to take the top of my head off a couple times, see if I had a brain.
Definitely were a thing. Look at the size of this fucking door. Look at the people below it in comparison to it. Do you see how massive that shit is? Why in the ever-loving fuck would you need a door that big for humans? And here another one. Look how big this shit is compared to this dude. It even has human-sized doors at the bottom of it. So what the hell was these for then? Shit. Here's another one. These just all over the world, just huge-ass doors. Which would also explain these huge-ass fucking steps. Look at the people in the size comparison to these steps.
Yeah, those are
These shit was
huge.
definitely made for giants. Then we got these big-ass books. Why would we need a book that big? That shit was not made for us, or made by us. And I'm sure we all know an old person that be reading from them huge-ass books, like your grandma got a big-ass Bible or something.
Hey, y'all seen this yet? That would be my line. Anyways, have y'all seen this yet? We talked about the petrified giants and whatnot. Check it out. I'm gonna do a longer story on this one right here. This giant snake, man. You can see the scales, dude. Or shall we talk about this giant leaf that's like 6-7 feet long? Where do you think that came from? I mean, seriously. You know, my favorite is these alleged mountains, huh? I mean, you can even see the rings on the inside of it, just like a tree, man. That's something to think about. Some people are like, oh, where'd they all go if they chop them down? Well, there's one right there, allegedly. Here's a good comparison right here. See up there, that's the mountain. And then look, over time, look what happens. Allegedly. This right here is very interesting. I don't know if it's petrified giants or not, but it's petrified something. I mean, to me, that looks a lot like roots of a tree. And again, I mean, that even looks like the little wrinkled up skin on the elephant's trunk, his nose, you know what I mean?
Perhaps it happened with next to no notice, no warning. And then a wall of water comes, flooding the earth, burying them and preserving them at the bottom of the muddy water steps. And then, once the water levels started to recede, all that mud and soot that was once underneath the water hardens into stone. Generations later, the landscape captures that moment.
Well, they actually use the World's Fairs buildings of New York and other places, and there's electric towers that surround them. This is why the coliseums or the stadiums that they use are in a bowl. You always think of all the stadiums, all the football, soccer, sports, it's always in a bowl. The reason it's in a bowl is because that energy is being taken from the fans, being interjected into the players, and they're harnessing or harvesting that energy. The mind is influencing the players the entire time, and this is how powerful the mind really is. But we're not taught that, because if we started to understand that people could group together and be very powerful, then that's a threat to the system. And when it's interesting, because when you look at the Super Bowl, the whole Super Bowl, well, they actually use the World's Fairs buildings of New York and other places, and there's electric towers that surround them, because they understand that the Roman circus is actually harnessing energy and the ether the entire time. They're just using it in a different way. They're making you entertained while you watch the sports, and not tell you that it's taking your energy that whole entire time.
Tell me if you're feeling this.
Energy that whole entire time.
Real. They come up from underground, different spots all over the world. There's a 1 to 1.5 foot tall one. That's the real type 1.
The type 1s are covered in red diamond-shaped scales. Brill type 1s are real dumb.
Little dragons, those are the Brill type 1. These lizards have a unique biological property of their body. The lizards have what's called a proboscis. It's an ejectable brain and spinal column. The small ones they use to drone people, because the proboscis on young lizard type 1s, they're small enough to go into an eye and not ruin the eye. This top cap thing on the top of their head comes out. They can do this once in their life. It pulls their spinal column along with it. The humans would have to be restrained or unconscious. The thing swiggles in through the eye. It does a spiral around the optic nerve all the way to a certain point, and it's driven there by taste. And they said once it gets there, it has the taste of butterscotch. It then starts what they call spinning. The spinal cord stuff comes out of the spinal cord, and it's everything that the lizard is. The lizard's whole body is dead, and it can't go back in. It's one way. The juice that's in the spinal cord gets excreted out of the tip of this thing. They're parasitic cells. The parasitic cells go into the brain. The old person's consciousness is gone. The body is absolutely, totally dominated, and the lizard is smarter as a human. Over time, it'll develop a rash, it'll lose its hair.
And they're actually deficient. They're dumber than the original person.
and they mimic human behavior. It knows that its life is dependent on it mimicking human behavior, so it does really well. Even with other animals, it's smart enough to instinctually mimic the animal's behavior. The drones 100 years ago traced any existence of these frill lizards from like Egyptian carvings on walls, they would smash them, or books that had anything in them about them, they would burn them.
I hope this thing's not real.
Which are the smaller miniaturized version, which have been developed for both battlefield and also for close quarter urban conflict, riots, where they can actually create behaviors in individuals by attenuating a very, very tight and certain frequency range that can make your heart resonate. They can stop heartbeats. They can resonate with the lungs at a different attenuation. They can make you have trouble breathing. And the really frightening part is, well, not that stopping your heart isn't pretty frightening, but also they can actually make the different folds of your brain at different frequencies, different folds resonate at different attenuation of this particular frequency range, and can cause confusion, agitation, violence, and hearing voices in your head.
So my questions are this. They say allegedly that this map hangs in an office somewhere inside of the UN. I don't know if that's true or not, but what I am going to say is, what the hell's up with this map? Because it looks an awful lot like this map. And if you have seen my video on this map, you know exactly what I'm fixing to say. I want you to pay attention up there where it says Asgard. This is another map that I found over there on XDX. Oh, this is that map blown up. Here's that map blown up again. Look what it says. What's that say? Asgard. Here's that map again. Asgard. So with Asgard being up there, does that mean that's a play on this map? Because Asgard is on both of these maps. And if you look in the upper left corner over there, this map has a verse in German, and it is Enoch 18 verse 4, which says, "And I saw the winds which turned the sky and caused the disk of the sun and all the stars to set. I saw the winds on the earth which support the clouds, and I saw the paths of the angels. I saw at the end of the earth the firmament of the heaven above." So this map has a verse, Enoch 18:4, which talks about the firmament, which allegedly this is what our planet looks like. It's flat on the bottom and then it has a dome. So is Enoch confirming this map? And when you type this in on Google, this is the answer you get. Long lost under... And look what's circled up there. You see what's circled up there? That's going to lead you to my next question. Look at this. Look at that area that's circled up top. And then looky here. But is this a mirror? And is it really showing us what the Earth looks like from above? I mean, if you look at this picture, it breaks it down and it makes complete sense, y'all. Like, this is crazy. I never would have thought of this. And if you look at this part of the map, it looks like this place, Hyboria. And if you look at the top up here, that's Asgard at the top. And you know Hyboria was supposed to have existed thousands and thousands of years ago. It's supposed to be set in prehistoric Europe and North Africa. And it's supposed to have included the Atlanteans from Atlantis and the Lemurians from the Inner Earth. And the Hyborian Age emerged after a flourishing of civilization after the drowning of lost lands. But seriously, does this not look like Hyboria? Y'all, what? I'm telling you it does, because Asgard is literally right there. And if you look at this map, there's Hyboria, and then Asgard is way north. But I want to show you something else. This was published in 1907. Was this world map made 10 centuries ago, 1,000 years ago? And they're referring to the map that's up there. That coincidentally looks a lot like this map. Don't you think? There's a lot of similarities there. This is a map that came across from China all the way to a doctor in Honolulu in 1907. And this map was allegedly made by Chinese priests over 1,000 years ago. And it was found by his brother in a Japanese temple in the mountains of Japan. And according to a letter, the original map was brought from China by a Buddhist priest and concealed in that temple. And this doctor said that his brother would not be treated by modern medicine, even though his brother was a doctor. He wanted to go into the woods and learn the cures and to be able to cure himself. And he went into the woods, and that's the map that he found when he was on his map here of the Middle Earth. So did Tolkien make this map up, or did Tolkien know something and put it out there without putting it out there? You know what I mean? I don't know. And while I got you, I want to show you one more thing. If you look directly above me, this is a clock that is in the middle of Prague. And this clock has literally malfunctioned, been damaged because it caught fire, allegedly. But if you look at this clock, and then you look at this moon map over here on the right-hand side that tracks all of the zodiac signs because of the moon cycles and phases, y'all, what? I mean, I'm not saying anything, but if it walks like a duck, looks like a duck.
Shit, this is in New Jersey. Can somebody explain to me what the fuck this is? I saw the drones everybody's talking about somewhere else, but I couldn't stop the car to take a video because I was on the road and there was trucks and there's nowhere to stop. But look at this. Can somebody tell me what the fuck this is? This is in Jersey. I'm in Jersey. I just finished working. Look at this shit. You tell me those are drones moving in that pattern and so fast. You're gonna see how they move so fast. And then they've been moving because they were all the way somewhere else where I was driving and they're moving. It's not like they're staying in one spot. And sometimes they create two rings. Look at that. What the fuck is that? Can somebody explain to me what the fuck that is?
So I'm on my website figuring out why I've got so many Australians checking out my products, and this is a live view. So I'm turning the world around, and I go, what the heck? Our entire half of the world is nothing. There's nothing there but water. It's empty. So then I go and look at the front, and well, here's what it looks like. And here's our moon. So I look for a world map and overlay it. Let's take out the background. Here we go. Now we're gonna turn it around. I mean, does that, like, it kind of fits. What if the moon's just a reflection of the Earth? And this blank side of water is the dark side of the moon? Huh.
Oh my god. Okay, so that half moon thingy right there.
How old are you today?
We held a key that opened every single door in the facility. I had complete access to every compartment they manufactured.
What are you blowing the whistle on?
That there are technologies at the South Pole Station that people can't even consider that exist on this planet. Directed energy weapon systems is something that people need to get in their vocabulary fast. The Ice Cube neutrino detector is not simply a passive listening device as presented for the science that they're claiming it to do. It also has the capacity to transmit. There are embedded in the ice what are called digital optical modules, DOMs. They're about the size of a basketball. The array embedded in the ice is 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer. It is the world's largest telescope, and now because we have proven that it can transmit, it's the world's largest directed energy weapon system. It is responsible for the earthquakes in Christchurch, New Zealand.
So NASA just came out and confirmed that there is indeed a parallel universe in Antarctica, y'all. This is crazy. So they had this balloon, right, to test for particles and stuff like that in Antarctica. Now, during this process, they noticed something that was very strange, and they said that they noticed these molecules that instead of falling were levitating. I literally have chills, y'all. I knew this was a thing. So basically, they said that they believe that this means that there is a parallel universe somewhere near or on the island, Antarctica, okay? And this parallel universe literally defies the laws of physics, literally defies gravity, okay? So basically, instead of a rock falling down, the rock is going to be going up. So, you know what I'm saying? When you drop something, it's going to go, it doesn't drop, it goes up. Y'all, this gives me very, 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 very strange vibes. The fact that they just came out and said the aliens are real, and now they're saying that there's a parallel universe.
Article that came out 1934 in the LA Times was called Lizard People's Catacomb City Hunted Underneath Los Angeles, California.
Shut up.
This man named G. Warren Schufelt, and he had developed this X-ray penetrating technology to where he could scan different rocks and stuff. He was in LA on this hill called Fort Moore Hill, and he drilled like 200 something feet down, stuck it down, and he's like, what the heck? He's like, there's tunnels, a lot of tunnels, and really big rooms, and a lot of gold. So he went to Arizona, and he met with, his name was Little Chief Greenleaf. This Hopi elder said, what you just discovered is one of 3 lost cities along the Pacific coast. And he told about, there was this people group called the Lizard People, but they were called the Lizard People because their idol was a lizard. This was a civilization that was advanced technology-wise, that they had this chemical that they would use to basically bore out the tunnels. The Lizard People's city being amongst these certain hills that exactly line up to where this guy found the thing.
What happened to Schufelt?
They shut him down.
What everybody else who is currently in an awakening process, okay? If you're not in that process, if you are not part of the kingdom that is being created right now, you can scroll. Anybody agree that this feels like a really big calm before a storm? Everybody's just out shopping for Christmas, living life, and I'm looking around like, none of this even matters at all. We feel like something really big is going to happen. And I feel like it could be something bad that's big, but I also feel like something good is going to come from it, if that makes sense. I feel like corporate world and just everything. That's why they want to ban TikTok, because there is a mass awakening of the people, and we are no longer going to be slaves or puppets. And it's people like me and you who they dislike the most, because we are here and we can see right through every plot, plan, and scheme. So, happy ascending. God bless. I love you, brothers and sisters. Yahshua's kingdom. Oh, hallelujah. It's being built. We are part of it. Praise God. Bless God. Love you. Stay strong. Don't buckle.